All right, guys, welcome back to the Road to 8 Racing channel. Today, we're gonna give a slight update on what's going on with the car. So something kind of funny that I forgot and I didn't even actually see in making last week's video is this crack right in the bottom of the piston. I forgot what they exactly call that, but that is pretty bad. Like I was looking at all the other ones look just fine, but that is the number 7 piston, and that is the one that the bearings ended up looking like this. I'm not really sure, maybe somebody in the comments can enlighten me how that caused the bearings to go bad. I imagine just the play in it, I don't know. It tore those up pretty bad. As far as the update for everything here, the engine, I have a pretty good plan. So these are the pistons I want to get. They're Wiseco True Street pistons, forged dome pistons. I don't know if I'm going to go with the dome yet, but that is the first step. Then the other thing is these Boost Line Wiseco pistons.
Those are rods, you idiot.
David Freiberger actually has a video on Summit and says that those rods can hold up to 2,000 horsepower. Am I gonna be pushing 2,000 horsepower very soon? I don't think so.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
But future planning, that'll work out pretty good. So if I just buy it once and hopefully don't send a rod out the block. But the other big update, and I know a lot of the viewers are gonna be really excited about, is the cage is gonna go in this thing. So buddy of mine, Jeff is his name. He actually has a first gen Camaro too. And he's done a bunch of cages on first gen Camaros. So he's like the perfect guy. He seems super knowledgeable. He's gonna put an 850 cert cage in this thing actually in the next like week or so. Something I was really excited about. He's gonna let me come over there and help him. So that I'm hoping means that I can do some videoing for you guys and make all those guys happy that were talking all kinds of crap to me about not having a cage running this thing down the track. I do agree with you guys, it was a terrible idea, but I didn't really have the resources or anyone that could put a cage in the middle of the season like that, so I just working with what I got. It was kind of funny. Some of the commenters were ruthless. It was hilarious. Like some guys were even telling me like, oh, I hope you crash into the wall and die, and so I'm like, dang, that's a little ridiculous. But they are right in saying I needed a cage. I mean, it's not worth losing a life over just to go fast. But the last piece to the puzzle for the engine is gonna be that crank. And I haven't decided what brand crank I wanna go with. There's so many out there, and frankly, I haven't built an LS before other than, you know, putting the stock one together. So I don't really know what I'm looking for. I know I wanna go forged, but there's like the K1 brand, there's the Cali's brand. A lot of guys run the Eagle brand, but I've heard mixed reviews on those. So that's another thing. A lot of you guys on here are pretty intelligent, more intelligent than I am on building these engines. So if you guys got any suggestions on what brand, even rods and pistons, I mean, I'm not stuck on those Wiseco stuff. I just know it seems like those are really nice quality pistons and rods. But if you guys have some suggestions on pistons and rod for me to use, go ahead and drop them in the comments and I'll look into it and do some research and figure out what's good. I don't think I really want to go change turbos this year. These are the VS Racing 6762. They say these will make like 1,600 horsepower, so I'm gonna keep those for now. Eventually, I do plan on upgrading to like a nice precision turbo or something like that, but I don't have the funds for that right now, and frankly, I didn't plan on having to build this engine this year, so cage, pistons, rod, crank, yeah, it's racking up pretty fast. So I'm gonna work with those turbos this year for sure. Hopefully they make it through all next year. The next thing on the list this year, Jeff also has a hookup on a rack and pinion. I think he said it's our Flaming River. So that'll get rid of my steering box, and most importantly, this rubber mount bushing right here. They say that those can sometimes just break, and then obviously your wheels are doing whatever they want them to, especially on coming down on wheelies, which, speaking of wheelies, I did just order a new transmission. So that is a 4L80E, and I wanted to keep that because it's got overdrive because we plan on doing Rocky Mountain Race Week. So I got a hold of Jake's Performance. They build some sweet 4L80E transmissions, and I told him what I was wanting to do with it, and he said the Stage 5, it's got the trans brake in it, and it's rated for 1,500 horsepower plus, and it's got a warranty. So I don't know how good the warranty is. I haven't really looked into that much yet. I mean, he's building it for a race car, so you'd think that the warranty would cover race car stuff. So hopefully that works out, but he said that'll be here like January. So this thing's gonna be a completely different car next year, I'm hoping, with a transmission and trans brake, Because I was always foot braking it before, and I was only getting, I think the most boost I seen off the line last year was 3 pounds of boost. So transmission, built rotating assembly, steering assemblies, that should take this car well into the 5s, if not the low 5s. So that's the goal for this coming year. Another thing we plan on doing while Jeff is doing the cage, my coilovers have an angle to them. It's more for like driving on actual tracks where you know, turn. So we're gonna take those coilovers and mount them so they're actually pointed straight up and down. I'm not really sure like the physics work there, but I do know that I see almost all drag cars have those coilovers mounted straight up and down. I feel like you get a lot more controllability with them. Not really sure, that's another thing. Maybe one of you guys can enlighten me on the physics of that. Along with moving those coilovers, I am gonna get a new set for the front of this car too. The coilovers that I currently have like 0 stored energy. So basically, the front end doesn't pop up at all on no prep stuff. And I really want to get into no prep next year. It looks like a lot of fun. So I want to be able to adjust my coilovers on the front, get that weight transfer and be competitive in that, and then be able to go and adjust those coilovers back to be strictly prep racing too. So this thing does have 6 inches of travel on the front end before it tops out those coilovers, but I did get a set of QA1 ball joints. They add an extra inch of movement in the front. So that'll give me about 7 inches of travel. Those no prep guys, they have the front end come up like 8 to 10 inches, which is crazy. It's like a free runner truck basically. But 7 inches will be pretty good. And I think the biggest thing that's gonna help me out is just having that stored energy. Once the car starts transferring that weight, it's gonna really promote that weight to go to the back even more. But yeah, so the next couple of weeks, we're gonna be putting a cage in this. Hopefully Jeff is gonna let me do some video in there while I'm helping him. I know I'm gonna be doing the low man on the totem pole work, but that's fine with me. I just wanna be a part of it. There's a lot to learn. I love fabricating stuff, and I know Jeff is really good at fabricating, and I guess he's got a guy helping him. I'm sure he's good too, so. Pretty excited about helping with that. Little teaser for next week's video is the nitrous bottle and that mini bike. I hope that motor isn't looking the same way that it does right now after we're done with it. But I think that's all I wanted to update you guys on. There's a lot of content coming and a lot of big changes to this car. It's gonna be very competitive next year for any kind of racing I wanna do. It's gonna launch off the line, and it's gonna have quite a bit more horsepower and reliable horsepower. That is all I have for this week. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back next week to see what I tear up. I'll see you later, guys.